My team would be amazing if they listened to me more. Do you know how many times I've heard that sentence from a client? If you've just stepped into a new position and it's a position of leadership, congratulations. I'm proud of you and you should be proud of yourself. But what you have ahead of you is a very narrow line you want to tread. If you over communicate, you might immediately be classified as a micromanager. If you under communicate, you've lost this amazing opportunity to really reset the vision and the direction for a team that were a little bit lost. So I'm going to show you in this video how you make sure you stay right on the line. You communicate clearly, concisely, and you're seen as an authoritative leader. This is the 30-60-90 communication plan, so you know what you should be saying at every stage of the game, so that after 90 days, you are seen and respected as the leader you are. Let's start with the first 30 days. The first 30 days are absolutely critical to the takeover. This is the most important period of time you have. Don't make the mistake of over communicating. If you garble your messages, if you really lay down the law without thinking anything through, not only will you be seen as that micromanager we talked about, but also people will challenge you very, very easily because they're not understanding what you're saying. So if you want to set the tone first, do something that might feel a little bit uncomfortable. The first 30 days should be spent listening. Listening and asking the right questions are absolutely fundamental to getting the foundations in place. And I don't think you should see yourself in the position of manager just yet. I think you should play the role of detective. Look for the clues. Tune into team dynamics like no one else ever has. Start to observe patterns. Start to observe the ways people communicate. You're part detective, part psychological forensic analysis. If at this stage you're not doing very much talking at all and you're just in listening mode, that's a really good place to be. So actually, if the first 30 days are feeling easy, that's a really good sign. You're going to start asking questions like, who's actually influencing the decisions here? Who's speaking up in meetings and who's saying nothing? Where do things start to slow down in the chain? And what really are the blocks and the challenges that are preventing the people with the best ideas from making those ideas actually happen? You're in gathering data mode. Once you have all of that information, you're going to take it away, you're going to digest it. But don't stop for a moment asking questions that give you that real bank of information. If at the end of those 30 days you haven't said much, that is again a really great sign. But hopefully you have answers to the following. You know exactly what the vision is, you know exactly where you want to drive the team towards. On top of that, you should have a crystal clear understanding of team dynamics, and you should understand the 2 to 3 biggest issues, the ones that they care about, the ones that they see as the challenges and get in their way. You should know exactly what they are. Finally, you should have a rough idea, don't worry if you don't have the details yet, but a rough outline of exactly what you need to change to get them closer to that end goal. Now let's look at what you need to be doing for the next 30 to 60 days. You should still be not dominating the conversation. If you're doing 20% of the talking and the rest of the team are doing 80% of the talking, that's a really good ratio. So again, if it feels easy, that's a good sign things are going in the right direction. What you're going to need to do next is have a series of meetings that get you anything that's missing from your data set so far. During those meetings is your time to show that you know exactly which direction you're going in. Start by setting really clear ground rules. Start by outlining the objective you want to achieve by the end of the meeting. And as that meeting takes place, make sure you are continually reminding the people in that meeting the time they've got left, how close they are to the objective, and steer them back on course if ever they go off track slightly. That's a really good way to just remind them that you're in control, but you're not going to be controlling. When it comes to meeting topics, the answer is easy. Tackle the hardest stuff first. If you know there are subjects your team is shying away from, it is time to roll those subjects out onto the table and unpack them. So if you know there's a block that no one is willing to talk about or change, now is your time. You've got a fresh opportunity. The slate is clean. Roll it onto the table and start to allow people to dissect it. Write yourself a blank check for some of the questions and give them the same opportunity. So, for example, How would we solve this problem if money were no object? How would we solve this problem if you knew what you could do would have absolutely zero consequences? Think of different questions to try and get around the issue or different ways to solve things. One final tip in all of that is that clarity is always going to beat complexity, and brevity will get you respect. So don't hesitate to use simple language. You're in charge now, so you would be amazed at the amount of people who will just sit there and nod at you and not really understand what you're saying. So don't forget to check for understanding and keep your language clean, clear, and simple. No corporate jargon, please. Finally, welcome to your last 60 to 90 days. Let's execute the direction. Consistency is key here. You've built up all of this lovely trust, and a slight wobble might now shake that. So, unless there is any real reason for you to suddenly U turn or change direction, try to stick to the plan you've been slowly laying out. Now you've just got to communicate that plan in a way that makes sense to everyone else. And you're not just going to deliver it like you're a dictator, you want to bring other people in on the conversation. So, absolutely, now might be the time for you to run some presentations and workshops around that direction you're setting in. Keep it open, but know when to set boundaries. Unless someone really finds a hole, you have to trust yourself on this one. So know when to say no, know when to push back, and know when actually you are more than happy to accept feedback and allow people to challenge you. Leaders who allow challenge really strengthen that trust. A little bit of disagreement is healthy. So make sure you have shown yourself all along as someone who is open to radical candor, aka feedback. A big part of what you are going to be doing now is giving feedback. We talk about positive and negative feedback, but I think that's probably too binary. Just think of it as feedback. If someone does a really good job of something, tell them why they've done a good job in the hope that they will repeat the same job on the next same project or task that you set them. If someone doesn't quite get it yet, absolutely pull them to one side, have that one-on-one, ask them what they think is going wrong. The more you can proactively offer that space for communication, the more you will see that naturally fed back to you. If you create an environment where people are willing to talk about the hard stuff first before it becomes an even bigger problem, you will find challenges are easier to tackle. So set that tone now. Finally, whether you are talking about a person or a project, there are two things I want you to bear in mind. One, direct communication. That's not just that proactive communication piece I'm talking about, but an ability to get to the point. You're the leader. You don't need to sugarcoat. You don't need to add fluff. Just talk to that person in a way that you yourself would like to be spoken to. Point two, show that you really value them. You can give somebody feedback that perhaps on paper doesn't sound totally positive, as long as you give that feedback, you are showing the other person that you really want them to be better. You are not just giving them feedback for the sake of them feeling like they're getting a little bit of a telling off. Those two factors combined work really well. So, show that you value them. Show that you value the project. Show that you value the direction you are setting in. Show that you value the company. And do all of that with clean, clear, direct, proactive communication. That's your 30 to 90-day plan. Listen, guide, direct. Good luck.